Preservation.
Right. So it was first given orally and then it was written down?
Yes. Yes. Well, on earth anyway. So going back to criteria, you're saying that why would you say that there is no need for a book, or you wouldn't believe that a book would be sent?
Because I believe any religion can say that their holy book is from God. So the Christians will say it, Muslims will say it, the Hindus will say it. So I think you asked what would be the criteria to judge.
What would be your criteria? Yeah.
Well, as I said, I think anyone can write a book and claim it's from God. I think I could write a book and claim it's from God, and I think many people have done that through history. So that's why I would accept.
I agree with you, but let's just say, so that would be your criteria, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for your...
No, I said that there is no criteria because I don't think it could.
So you're saying that because in your opinion anyone can write a book, therefore you would give it no criteria. I'm saying hypothetically, if there was a criteria for you to say, okay, that book, if I was to believe in a book from God, it would need to satisfy these three conditions.
Right. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in Islam one of the criteria you have is if you can write another surah like in the Quran. It's a sort of a challenge almost.
Yeah, we'll come to the Quran, because you already said that different religions claim different things. We're just putting it on ice for the moment, and I'm saying, according to your understanding, what would satisfy you in believing, okay, that has credibility for us to have a discussion that could be from God?
Well, I would say it would have to be true, fundamentally. So
when you say true, what do you mean?
Well, I think truth is an attribute of God. So I think if something is from God, it should be true.
How would we measure the truth?
You would have to judge it for yourself, I think. I think every individual would have to judge it for themselves.
So for yourself, if you were to open a book, when you say truth, it's a very abstract term. It's very difficult to quantify, very difficult to pin down, and it's very subjective. So for yourself, if you were to put pen to paper, what would you say would classify something as truth?
So I think if you had a book that told you objective facts like Tokyo is the capital of Japan, I don't know, the sky is blue, very basic, simple things.
Excellent.
Like that, for example.
Yes,
and then you could build upon that to more complex things.
Excellent. So that's criteria number one. What else would you say?
That would be maybe the only criteria I can think of.
Okay, brilliant. So you're saying it needs to have facts that we can measure? Am I? Yeah? Okay. So I would say let's now take the Quran off the ice and let's warm it up now, and let's put the Quran to your litmus test. So what we say is the Quran has certain prophecies in it, and those prophecies, the beauty of the Quran is those prophecies don't just rely on Muslims and Islamic literature and the breakdown according to Islam and Muslims only. It can be done even by non-Muslims and has been done. So I guess one prophecy I would say, this is towards the end of the Quran, where there was an individual called Abu Lahab, who was one of the uncles of the Prophet, and the Quran said to the nearest meaning that he pretty much will never accept Islam. Now if your fundamental purpose in life is to prove the Quran to be false, this would be considered a golden opportunity for yourself, because all you would now have to do is say, okay, so the Quran is saying I'm not going to accept Islam. I accept Islam. I accept Islam, and the Quran has now been proven to be false. But Abu Lahab tried anything and everything in the book, but it just didn't occur to him to do that.
So sorry, did you say in the Quran it says that he would not accept Islam?
It pretty much infers that he would not accept Islam.
Okay.
So for him to contradict, because they would look for any other excuse. So in the Quran saying, produce like the inimitability challenge, or produce a script like it. So you have non-Muslim historians saying that if you look at Arabia, their mastery in Arabic was unparalleled. So for them, if anybody could adequately challenge this, it would be the desert Arabs, but they couldn't.
How would they challenge it?
They would. So the Quran is saying that if the Quran is false, then bring a chapter like it. Yeah, something that is as poetic, something that is, like you said, has certain facts, makes certain prophecies. The structure, the beauty of the Quran, imitate it.
Okay, so who would be the judge of that? Who would judge whether what the person had written was like the Quran? How would you?
Yeah. So just like we judge PhD papers today, you judge it by the peers. That's why they call it peer-reviewed journals. The people that are masters, whether they are masters in whatever field, as long as they are in that kind of category, they get a chance to read it and say, no, we don't agree with that, we don't agree with that, no, I'm not doing that. So people that are masters in the field, it could be anybody, it could be Christians, it could be Muslims, it could be Jews, it could be Zoroastrians, because in those days, that was the standard. Do you see? So if that's the standard, like, let's just say all three of us are footballers here, and somebody does a skill, all three of us, regardless of which team we support, we'll be able to say his back heel he should be lifting his back heel. Do you see?
So are you saying that Christians and Hindus and Jews, as well as Muslims, should judge whether someone could produce a surah as good as the Quran?
Yeah, it's an open challenge.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an open challenge.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Hindu, whether you're a...
Because I mean, I know that there's Arabs, Christian Arabs, there's even Jewish Arabs.
Yes.
Believe it or not, if you look into
Of course.
So I mean, would you accept them producing a piece of Arabic poetry and then comparing it to the Quran?
Well, Luca, yeah. If something's an open challenge, and then somebody brings a
Because I'm
response.
sure somebody's done that.
Yeah, so if somebody then brings a response and you say, sorry, not you, it's not an open challenge then, is it?
Yeah, I know.
So anybody should be able to do it.
Yeah.
And if it's funny that you say that, somebody must have done it, then surely he would have been planted everywhere. Everybody would be mentioning him by name. For example, when we mention the problem of evil, first name that comes to your mind is?
Evil, Satan.
No, like the problem of evil that J.L. Mackie put forward. So Alvin Plantinga comes to mind as the one that was able to provide the logical response to that, such that even the likes of J.L. Mackie said, all right, there is a logical response between God and evil. Sorry, did I say good and evil?
Oh no, you said evil first.
Okay, yeah, evil and God.
Evil and good.
Evil and God, because they believe that the two, well, initially they said the two are contradictory. The mere presence of evil indicates that there is no God. The two contradict each other. But then Alvin Plantinga came and proved that that's incorrect. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so, sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, so anybody can come forward and put that, and if somebody had, that was the point that I was making, then his name would be all over YouTube videos. People would be quoting him, just like the problem of evil, people quote Alvin Plantinga, or when they talk about God being dead, they put Nietzsche forward, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so have you heard of anybody that people put forward and say, yeah, this is a person that has met that challenge?
About
About, yeah,
producing
about-
verses.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with that is, I think the judges of that would be Muslims themselves, or Muslim scholars, or anyone who's a Muslim. So I think therefore that they would not say this work is like the Quran, because that would be considered blasphemous. So therefore people wouldn't say that.
But in different,
Muslims wouldn't say that.
yeah, but the thing is, I'm sure you'd agree, we have professors in Arabic in, Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, everywhere. So they don't necessarily have to be Muslims. Yeah, we have people, and the second thing about blasphemy is the blasphemy law doesn't necessarily mean as much in, say, the Western countries. That's why you've got people like Salman Rushdie saying whatever he wants and having state protection. So I don't think, and definitely in certain circles where discussions of theology do happen, especially on stage, many things of that can be quoted as blasphemy do get put forward from the likes of Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens. I mean, Christopher Hitchens is gone now, but Lawrence Krauss, they look at anything But my thing to you, Luca, would be these people that clutch onto anything and everything, why haven't they clutched onto this?
To that point you made.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've not looked into this matter myself, but I've not looked into it myself, but I'm pretty sure that there are people who have met that challenge. I don't know Arabic, I can't be the judge of that, but I'm sure other people have, and you know, let them be the judge of whether it's...
No, but what I'm saying is, if the Quran has put forward two main challenges, and one of those challenges
What's
is
the other challenge you just mentioned? Like,
yeah, so one is the inimitability challenge, which is you can't copy it, and what's the other challenge, Ali?
MMA challenge? If there was any, if this is from other than God, you find many contradictions in everything.
So these two things, because they are two main challenges, then surely we would see people on stage providing copious evidences of this, or putting it forward.
I mean, do you want me to be the guy?
No. What I'm saying is that
if it's a challenge, you're saying it's like an open challenge.
Yeah, what
anyone can. Yeah, but I mean, what I said to
Zishan.
I said, I'm sure there are people who have tried to make that challenge. Yeah, there are attempts. They happen in Arabia, for example, when Islam first came, because this challenge is specific to the Arabs. So those who are par excellence in the Arabic language, poets attempted. So when they heard this, they realized that this is something they've never heard before. So the challenge was actually met for them, but they didn't meet the challenge. They could have not produced something like it. But then again, you're right, when she said he's not Arabic speaking person. But then God Almighty does give the challenge for those who deny it, that if you believe in God Almighty, then bring something like it, or they would find a contradiction or an error in the scripture.
What I say about the contradiction point, I would say the Christians, for example, if you ask them, are there any contradictions in the Bible? A fundamentalist Christian would say, no, there's no contradictions.
Actually, they'll say the opposite.
Would they?
You go to Christians here, hardcore Christians, they accept that there's contradictions, they accept that the Bible itself has been corrupted.
Yeah.
They do. This is actually very bizarre.
It's in the preface of the books.
Yeah, like for example, Bruce Metzger, he's a biblical, he's an expert in the biblical things. He himself has a book which he actually admits the Bible has had those changes. So even if you go to the Bible, there are like John 7:5 to Mark 8:11, there are little footnotes which tells you that these verses, for example, do not belong in the original manuscript, meaning they were inserted there. So what the Christians do today, which is very ironic, they'll come and say, look, we accept our scriptures have been changed. But we're like, well, that's good, we admire your honesty, but that's a big problem. It's good as me coming and saying, by the way, guys, I'm a thief, just to let you guys know. And you're like, well, okay, thank you, I'm going to be a bit cautious around you now. Just because you're honest doesn't change anything for you.
Okay.
So those were the main things, that if you're saying that for the Quran to be taken, it needs to have certain facts that we can measure. So I'm saying you've got two challenges.
So you've got inimitability and
the non-contradiction challenge. Then I gave you one prophecy that Abu Lahab, who was one of the uncles of the Prophet, he wouldn't accept Islam, and he didn't accept Islam.
It's a bit like predestination, isn't it? Because the Quran said he wouldn't accept Islam and he didn't. So it's
yeah, so that's a prophecy. And there's another prophecy when there was a war going on against the Byzantines and the Persians, and the Quran predicted that within a space of approximately 7 years, the Byzantines would beat the Persians. And this is something that what was the thing that Hijab posted? Theophilus, the Chronicles of Theophilus. So he is a non-Muslim who verified that the Byzantines had actually defeated the Persians. So he's from a non-Muslim source.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a question I wanted to ask you two guys. I've seen some of your videos, and I've seen your dining to Jannah videos.
Oh, really?
I mean, they're hilarious. I mean, it's a good laugh. But I wanted to ask, what is your rationale behind you sort of advocating men and women should be separated in public places?
Oh, you're talking about segregation?
Yeah.
Segregation is basically, we have gender points. The gender points is, you can call it the Muslimic points, the more Islamics, So basically, is the menu fully halal? Right. So meaning, do they serve pork or chicken that might be beef, which is permissible. Pork we can't eat even if there is no halal about it, we can't eat it. So menu fully halal, okay, good, one gender point. The second one is their music. We believe music is not permissible. So, and then the third one is, do they serve alcohol? And then the fourth one is there a prayer room? The fourth one, segregation, is do they have a space? So some restaurants we go to, which is very rare, the Somali restaurant we went to, they had a barrier of, partitions for females who want to come and eat on their own. They might be wearing the niqab and they want to take it off. So we just measure that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my question is why would you advocate that? Because I know, like in Saudi Arabia, they used to have segregation. Now they're gradually getting rid of it. From what I've heard.
Yeah, so we believe that's wrong. They shouldn't get rid of it. But we're not asking people to do that. What we're saying is, does the restaurant do it or not?
Yeah. No, what I'm asking is why would you think that's a good thing? Why would you?
Well, the thing is here, it's when it comes to,
because I know, like, I mean, would you suggest that, like, if men and women want to meet, it would be for the purpose of potentially marriage? So it should be done in the context.
That's
of
a good question. Jabi. We have our own channel, and I think we can. It's very important about segregation.
Come from that side, didn't it?
Wherever you like. You need a straight angle. Yeah, you know what? You asked a very good question. Now, come here.
The brother asked a very good question.
Okay. The reason why I'm saying this is because we got Egypt. Can I put this on? Yeah, sure. The only book I read, that's what I'm going to talk about.
Oh my god.
Okay.
This video is going to be half an hour video on beauty sick. Watch.
So yeah.
Is this going to go in the marriage document?
You see,
might as well give up on that.
Even non-Muslims are waiting for the marriage
I'm picking
document.
up on this.
Are you looking to get married?
Yeah.
Okay, we accept Islam and we'll find you a good sister. Be off me. Okay. Yeah, you asked a question about dining to Jannah and segregation. Can you ask it again?
Yeah, so my question was, in the dining to Jannah, I've seen you award Jannah points. One of them is
the Jannah point.
Bro, one of the mics muted.
Oh man, why is it?
That's fine.
You blink it?
No.
Okay.
It's muted.
1 second.
Just press it once, innit?
Hello now? Yeah. Sorry, man.
Yeah, so why would you consider segregation a good thing in public places? What would be the maybe the Islamic rationale behind that?
To be honest, I would say it's when Islam deals with this kind of issue between men and women, it deals with it on a macro level and on a micro level. So the micro level for us is Allah God Almighty told us in the Quran, tell the believing men to lower their gaze. And then it tells the women as well. So on a micro level, God Almighty is educating and nurturing Muslim men that you should, how you conduct yourself. No, carry on. Trust me. No, carry on. Stay here. Please don't try. Yeah?
No, I'm staying.
No, but still, keep it. Don't put me all those mics. Stay here.
No, serious. I'm here.
Yeah. I look like medals. Yeah. So the thing is here, it deals with it on a micro level to a macro level. Yeah. So micro level is that we need to educate our young men that you respect women, so that when you see a woman, doesn't matter how they dress, not bikini or abaya or niqab, you lower your gaze, look away. Now, when we see in our society, it's the opposite. Women today feel offended when you don't look at them. Why is he not looking at me? Is there something wrong with me?
And they're offended if you do look at them. That's all.
Well, not really, actually. Some of them, well, it depends. Some of them, they want attention, but not too much attention, yeah? So the point is this. So we are told as Muslim men on a micro level to lower our gaze and respect women. On a macro level, for example, when we're talking about segregation, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, when a man and a woman is alone, the third person is Satan. Meaning, in the context where the attraction to the opposite gender is quite great. Now, as men, we're visual creatures. You don't see a woman going around and buying magazines to look at men's thighs, you know, or men's legs. I mean, it depends, you know, if it's his legs or mine, it might be a different story here. But the point is here is that we are visual creatures. That's why you have strip clubs, yeah? Yes, there are women who go to these clubs, but there was a study done that most of them that do go there, it's because their friends are going, it's just a night out. But they're not necessarily going there to, you know, see the guy in that way. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So Islam has put these laws in place that you're not allowed to have half-naked women used for chocolate bars. What's a chocolate bar got to do with a woman? What's a car got to do with a woman? You are hypersexualizing the society. You are dehumanizing women. And I'm reading a book called
beauty sick.
That's correct, sir. Sorry, they haven't got me because that's the only book I read. And in this book, you look beauty sick. So it says how women are beauty sick. It's actually a pandemic.
It doesn't mean it's a good book. It just means he's a slow reader.
I've been reading it for the past I think I'm halfway.
How long is this book?
It's not bad. Yeah. The point is this, that in this book it tells you, for example, how women are starving themselves. They are not happy with their body. There is a specific woman the author interviews, which she claims and says, I felt so unattractive with myself that I would sleep around with men. Sleeping around is a big thing. People in today's time, promiscuity is everywhere. Why would a woman feel so crap about herself? And by the way, this is a pandemic. We're talking millions of women who feel insecure, spend hours to look the part, and the author says the system is rigged. You can never reach the point where you have the ideal look. So we have women who feel insecure, mental health is on the rise, and they feel sexually objectified. The point is this, when we're talking about segregation, it seems a bit extreme. But in Islam, we have a principle. Prevention is better than cure. We don't put these adverts of half-naked women, pornography. In pornography, when you're watching that, the woman is being humiliated. I'm so sorry. And then we come and say, oh, how do we fix it?